Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and I've got another Lightning Collection toy review for you today. As you can see, this is the In Space Psycho Green Ranger, which is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive and quite difficult to find. I only found a single listing where you could get your hands on this, and that listing was one left on their website for $100. Seriously, $99. One thing I want to comment on right away and that you might notice, and this is something I'm starting to put together with Lightning Collection figures, is that sometimes the boxes are primarily white and sometimes they are primarily the Ranger's color, or the villain's color. I don't think you really see it with Rangers with the exception of the SPD Omega Ranger. And, you know, you could almost attribute that because it was an entirely different kind of box that had the Uniforce cycle in it. But you see here, you know, along here and up here and stuff, that this box is pretty much entirely green instead of being white and just little bits of green on it. And I have to say, I really like it. I would almost prefer this as far as the styling of the boxes. I don't know how possible that is with Rangers in terms of their helmets blending into the color of the box, but it's just really striking and it stands out more. So inside the box here you see Trek himself, the Psycho Green Ranger. For the record, some of you that are not into the Boom comics at all might be a little confused, seeing as during In Space or Lost Galaxy, there was not a Psycho Green Ranger. There was no Psycho Green Ranger, except there was a Psycho Green Ranger in the Boom comics. Trek was a member of the Supersonic Rangers, but he was lured to the side of evil by Dark Spectre, betrayed his team, got them all killed, actually killed them, and then gave his morpher to Dark Spectre, and it was modified and imbued with evil, and he became the very first Psycho Ranger, Psycho Green. He fought the very first team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, well, maybe not the first team, but an earlier team of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in 1969 on the moon, and was contained for a long time, and etc, 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 etc. That's not really important. We are here to talk about an action figure. So you see the Psycho Green Ranger in there, the Psycho Dagger, and that I think was very important because the Psycho Dagger has actually been incredibly important in the plot of the comics itself, even outside of the Psycho Green Ranger. So it was very important for them to include that and to make sure they got that right. Like the other Psycho Rangers, he has the lightning hand effect part on, and there's the extra hands, and there's a green effect part, and we'll see if there's anything else hiding behind him there. Beautiful box art, as always, that wraps around the side, but cuts off on the back. Pretty simple back of box pose to match, I think, there. He looks a little more fluorescent on the back of the box. That's interesting. And that box art on the side. Oh, speaking of which, yes, up here you can see that their Ranger logo is Power Rangers in Space. And I know some people would say that the logo used for the Psycho Ranger should be the Neji Ranger, if I'm pronouncing that right, logo that's on their belts, but that doesn't really say any words or anything, so I can understand them having the In Space logo, since that's where the Psycho Rangers first appeared, even though I will say that is not where Psycho Green appeared, so that is kind of interesting. Beautiful shade of green on the top. I really like that shade of green, and of course words on the bottom. Let's pop it open. Backing card is fairly appropriate, gray and green. To be honest, I would have gone with black and green, but this works. The hands are kind of interesting, as you might expect for a figure that has an effect part hand on it there. It's not two closed fists, as has become pretty standard. One is a closed fist, but this other one here on the side is actually another open hand, almost like another holding hand, which I find kind of interesting because he only comes with one weapon. If you see that Tommy Oliver fellow, tell him that Trek, the Green Psycho Ranger, has a message for him. There's only room for one Green Ranger on this grid. So here we are. You may notice, since the back of the box pose is kind of not dynamic and just kind of, you know, standing there. I wanted to give him a little bit more of a dynamic action pose to show off what these figures can do before I put him into that pose on the back of the box to do the comparison. So here we are. Psycho Ranger figures at this point are a little complicated for me to review just because they are basically the palette swaps of the Power Rangers universe. I'm going back and forth on taking Psycho Red and Psycho Blue down to kind of show this off. I might as well. Looking at things, I was going to have to rearrange the display a little bit anyway to get all three Psycho Rangers up there in order with the other figures. So here you see the three male Psycho Rangers and the three Psycho Rangers that we have gotten individual releases for thus far. Red, green, and blue. And you can really see, you look at the helmets, you look at the chests, they are palette swaps. They are, for the most part, actually no, they are. Okay, so here's the thing, and I don't know if this is going to be digital zoom, possibly. I'll try to use digital zoom to show you this here, but they have a scratch mark on their chest on their right side, so your left side, and on each figure it is exactly the same. So these are absolutely palette swaps. The battle damage on them, which I have praised in the past, and I still do, it looks good, it's just not unique anymore. All three of them are absolutely palette swaps, which is slightly, I don't know if annoying is the word. I can understand it. I mean, this is going all the way back to Mega Ranger, the Sentai in Japan, that the Psycho Ranger suits are for the most part swaps of each other. It really does more, and I will try not to harp on this in this video, but it just really all the more makes me hope that we get individual releases of Psycho Pink and Psycho Yellow, because that will at least be a different figure. So another thing you can see here that I do actually appreciate in talking about how individualized these figures are is that at the very least, the lightning hand effect is different on each one. For a second, I thought it was the same as Psycho Red's, but comparing them, they are definitely not the same. So that's at least nice. One thing that is the same, though, is this effect part. This is one that Lightning Collection collectors will be pretty familiar with. It's kind of the standard sword explosion energy type thing. Mainly Trini has this effect. It's not one of my favorites because it just kind of sits on a blade and it's a little hard to balance, but it's green.
It is green.
And there is Psycho Green's Dagger, and it is a beautiful weapon. I will say here, and this might be digital zoom, but the N, the Neji Ranger logo, doesn't look very, like, complete. I think it's supposed to be this way, but it's a weird shape, and it's just kind of weird. But the dagger itself is beautiful and shiny. Great silver paint, great green paint. Great gold paint on the hilt there. I like it. Posability to the back of the box, I'm going to give an A+. You might think that figure doesn't really match exactly to that pose on the back of the box. The flatness or lack thereof of this counter that I'm filming on kind of contributes to that. Again, these are man-made, you know, not like factory produced, just regular man-made shelves, so they're not completely flat. That was kind of the problem I ran into, so I had to adjust him a little bit, but that's not the figure's fault, that's the shelf, so that I'm not going to hold against it. It does pose to the back of the box very well. The main difference, again, that kind of screams out at me, and I'm actually glad that this is something that seems to have been changed, is that the render on the back of the box looks like it would glow in the dark. It's that shade of like fluorescent green, whereas they seem to have muted that down on the figure itself, and that is a change for the better. I was actually all ready to call out that that effect part wasn't going to go that deep on the dagger, but it does, which is nice. I guess because the dagger is a smaller weapon or just its shape or whatever, it actually fits to it very well. and it's not going to fall off like it constantly does when I try to move the Mighty Morphin Yellow figure. So that is good there. So, surprise, surprise, this is a quality Lightning Collection figure. I will say that it's kind of one of those, I would lean towards getting this, if for the exclusivity, if nothing else. But, you know, the Psycho Rangers are also really cool. This is a character from the comics given three-dimensional life, and I just think it's really neat, so I got this. But, you know, I can understand if you're not really into the Psycho Rangers, if you're not into evil characters, or etc., etc., this might not be the figure for you, which is fine. As I said, and I'll go through this one more time as a reminder, it is going to be kind of difficult for you to find. It is currently sold out on Hasbro Pulse at a $19.99 price point. And searching around the internet a little bit, and I'll put up some more results here if I find any, but I only found one listing with any availability, and that listing was for $99. Please do not pay $99 for this figure. It is a neat figure, but Hasbro wants to sell them. They're going to make more. You will see this come available. Just keep an eye out for Twitter accounts like Ranger Liz or Airlim or just, you know, Japanime, just anybody that has their eyes and ears on the toy scene, and they will very likely notify you when these figures get restocked. I don't know if you can set up alerts on Hasbro Pulse for stock availability. If you can, I will put that information on the screen here. But if that's something you can do, then I would definitely recommend doing that, and then you can jump on this. I am very enthused, by the way, to see a comic exclusive figure getting sold like this and being popular, and that'll hopefully get us even more characters from the excellent Boom Studios comics. So that's actually going to wrap up this video, and you might notice, by the way, that since I'm not wrapping this up with a human head gag, no, this figure does not come with a human head, which is actually slightly disappointing for me because we have a look at the character. It is a character from the comic books. I will say, as far as the human head from the comic books, and this is something I talked about in the Ranger Slayer video when I said that, oh, she was a comic creation, but she's based on a real character, and as is Lord Draken, and you had a real Tommy head for him, even though I guess that could have come from the Shattered Grid video that Kyle Higgins did, and now I'm getting off track. Anyway, to say, in this case, this is a completely original character that has never been portrayed on screen by a human actor, so it may be slightly more difficult for Hasbro to manifest a three-dimensional head for a completely fictional comic book character. It is still kind of disappointing. I was hoping to get a human head for Trek, but oh well, as they say, c'est la vie. I was wrapping this video up. That's going to do it for this Psycho Green Lightning Collection toy review. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. Now that the video's done, you can let me know down in the comments below what you think of this figure, as well as my review of it. Are you going to try to get your hands on this, as difficult as it is, or is this a pass for you? Let me know down in those comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up, just like I'm giving this figure, to let me know that you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you're subscribed to my channel to see all of my videos, and also ring the bell, get your notifications set up, so you'll be notified of whenever I post brand new toy reviews like these. And if you'd like to lend me any financial support to help support my growing Lightning collection, you can check me out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you.